Hi, my name's Megan. We have a few minutes today to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
Where would you like to begin?
I've just been noticing that I've been procrastinating a lot with my schoolwork, and I'm not really entirely sure where it's stemming from.
You seem very stressed.
I am. It's kind of crazy because I will like start working on something and then I won't want to do it, and I'll find any other way to do something else, and then I'll wait to like start a paper, let's say, and I just will do it in 2 hours and it'll be like really bad.
I can tell you're very upset from that and stressed. Is there a certain reason why?
It just like gives me like, I don't know, school's been giving me a lot of anxiety. I kind of just like want to avoid like all my responsibilities, and like let's say I have a paper due on Sunday and I'd rather do anything else other than write that paper. Yeah.
What are your plans for this evening?
I'm probably just gonna go home and go to sleep and really avoid the paper. I probably honestly won't start the paper until right before it's due.
Are there other things going on in your life that would make it difficult for you to get the paper done?
Well, like I'm on the dance team, and that's been like adding a lot of extra stress and anxiety. Our captain really isn't that nice, and our coach is like really kind of like rough lately. I don't ever really want to go.
That seems like very stressful and like a not happy setting. How do you feel about that?
It definitely is not a good place to be sometimes. Like I love dance and I love the people that are there. It's really not easy to deal with because that feeling of like not wanting to be there is so heavy, and it gives me like a lot of anxiety going to practice when it really shouldn't.
Do you normally have anxiety?
Most of the time, yeah, but only in like new situations and new settings. I usually don't have anxiety like in places that I'm supposed to feel comfortable in.
Could dance team be a reason that work is becoming so stressful for you to get done because you don't want to deal with it, so when you get home you just are upset?
Yeah, I definitely I have been very upset a couple of times, like coming home from practice. It definitely like puts a toll on me because I don't really want to deal with anything else that I have going on because I'm already so stressed out from what occurs at practice.
What occurs at practice exactly?
Well, I feel like I get belittled sometimes and I get made fun of by our coach, and our captain's like kind of nasty and kind of yells at us sometimes like for no reason.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me upset and kind of frustrated, and I would say like even almost a little bit angry because I don't think it's fair to be treated like that, especially being like one of the older members on the team.
Have you ever spoken up for that?
Not this past season, but the year before, we kind of like discussed it as like junior, seniors, and coaches, but I feel like it's kind of gotten a little worse.
Do you think if you spoke up more it would change or anything, or make more dance more pleasant instead of this burden that you have to go through every week?
I don't think it would really make a difference because I don't think our coach really like, I think that's just her personality, and I don't think it would change anything. And our captain can be like really stressed out at times, so I think that she takes her stresses out on us because they're both great outside of practice, but it's once you get into practice it's just a bad situation.
Do you think that removing yourself from the issue would be more beneficial, or would you rather just stick with it and deal with it because you love dance?
I definitely just want to stick with it only because this is the last year that I'll ever have to dance competitively. So even though it like is a really big stressor in my life, I couldn't imagine like not doing it my last year.
So you seem like you really wanted to stick with dance. Are there other stressors in your life that can cause you to have anxiety lately?
I'm really nervous about grad school because we're being pushed to start like applying to places, and everyone's telling you to really focus on it since like I'm a senior. And I'm just like nervous that, especially with like my procrastination and not wanting to get work done, that I'm gonna have trouble applying.
Do you think that having so much work this semester and like all these papers that are due is making it extremely hard for you to apply to grad school because you want to do perfect, but it's hard?
Yeah, I've noticed that like a lot of my classes are very like work heavy this semester, and it's making it like hard to like really sit down and focus on everything. And I don't want like when I'm applying to grad school them to look at my like senior year grades and think that I'm not like trying and I'm not like pushing, because I feel like every school looks at like junior and senior year as the most important.
You seem very upset about that. Do you think that there's anything that you could change about the way that you study right now, or is it just like you just want to procrastinate because you don't want to do something?
I definitely could try to put like a little bit more effort into like my work and my papers. I feel like if I find a way to make a little bit like of my life a little less stressful, it might be easier to sit down and actually want to focus on my work instead of like wanting to do other things.
Are there things in your life right now that actually bring you joy that you can focus your attention on, so it's not always such a negative?
Hanging out with like my best friends is like kind of helpful. It kind of makes me forget everything that I like have going on for that like short amount of time. And then it makes me like think that like, okay, maybe my life like isn't as stressful as I think. So I think if I take the time and like actually schedule out like time to do homework, but like balance it out with seeing like the people that I'm closest to, I think that could help.
So that seems like it has a really big positive impact on your life right now. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that you think is important into why you're so stressed lately or having such anxiety about certain things?
Well, I'm a vice president in my sorority, and a lot of the other like vice presidents are very young, so having to find how to balance like the difference in ages as well as like balancing a position of power has been really stressful also.
Are you the only one that is in charge of things, or do people help you out at all?
Well, we have a team, but like I said, most of our sorority, like 3/4 of the sorority is 20 and younger, and only 2 of the people, including myself, are on the older ages. So it's like kind of hard. You kind of feel like you have to do everything on your own because they're not as reliable and responsible as they should be.
So it seems like you have a lot on your plate between dance team, school, being the vice president of a sorority. Do you think that these could all be causing you to have such anxiety, or is one weighing more than the other?
I think that they all have their pushes as to why I'm like stressed and why I'm feeling anxious, and they definitely have ups and downs. Like there are points in time where I feel like, oh, this is really great, and there's times where I'm like, oh, this really sucks.
Yeah, tell me about like the good times that you've had though.
Well, we just had Big Little last night for my sorority, which is where like some of the older girls get to take on like someone to mentor, and it was really stressful at first because like the decorations that I wanted weren't there, but I had like a really good group of girls that ran to go get decorations, and it ended up being like a really good night after that. Everyone was just really supportive and told me how good of a job I did, so it turned from a stressful time to like actually really beneficial and really nice.
So it seems like, just from everything that you've been telling me, that it's important for you to focus on all the positive things going on in your life and not the negative, because when you focus in on the negative, you just get very stressed out and want to like kind of like hide yourself. So when you feel like you're getting stressed, just remember that like there is positive stuff in your life and that everything's going to be okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.